about a year back I made a video about just some of the most prevalent and rampant Gen Z addictions that are out there. Look at me, I'm a little baby.
Oh, I was just so young.
And now I'm back with more, because there is so much more. And not because I'm out of ideas. You know, a lot of things have changed over the last year or so, but one thing that definitely has persisted is our generation's everlasting pursuit for any sort of quick and easy fix for pleasure. So, you know, you get the gist. I'm back to do my best to try and expose all you boners with what little joy you've managed to find in a world full of movie remakes, economic instability, and fentanyl. A world where every addiction of the past that all those anuses that came before us got to enjoy are either just not the same, hidden behind some absurd paywalls, or laced with fentanyl. And so naturally, in such a reality, there's really not much left to do but try and get a little bit more creative with our dependence. Really, what I'm trying to say is that Gen Z addictions are all part of one great big experiment, begging the question of what it really even means to be an addict. And I'm here for it. So let's talk about a few of them. Zins, snus, nick pouches, gums not lungs, whatever you call them where you're from, you know what I'm talking about. Pretty much the male equivalent of puffing on watermelon and popcorn lung all day, yet to be taxed into extinction, at least where I am. That quick little nick buzz that gets you through not being able to masturbate while at the office. I mean, smoke while at the office. Zins are by far the easiest way to keep the buzz not only indoors but in all sorts of scenarios. Out with the kids, during an hour of meditation, which we all find throughout the day. That's my favorite Dwight line. I mean, I had to use it at some stage. Or hell, snorkeling even. You know, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that, like vaping, nick pouches only initially hit the market to supposedly help you stop smoking. But that's before they realized that they could sell so much more if they made them 20 times the strength and cola flavor. Because let's be real, who gives a fuck anymore? What's definitely the best part about them is that you can just continuously keep turning up the heat. Upper deckies, lower deckies, colon deckies. You can only fit so much smoke in your lungs, but as long as there's space left somewhere in your body, the possibilities are endless. Hell, I've got 6 somewhere in my body right now. 7. Chubby bunny. And although I do know avid smokers who won't even go near them, they're affordable, they're efficient,
Mike Tyson uses them,
and at least it's not vaping. Online gambling. This one, on the other hand, is nothing but baffling to me in every way. I just can't wrap my head around as to why online gambling has become the colossal industry that it is at this stage. Literally one of the biggest parts of the entire internet. And look, we've all got our vice, you know, I get it. I'm not here to judge. This video isn't about shaming anyone. Well, yeah it is, but I still get why people gamble. You know, because they hate to feed their children. Now, seriously, I mean, a good game of poker or the races or whatever are all great ways to throw our first world privilege in the face of all those forever mosquito swatting meddling kids who couldn't even comprehend what $1 is. It's not much of a secret that gambling is fun. Or at least that it can be. It can be a harmless game of risk and reward with your pals. But then again, there's also those people who would prefer to spend their entire retirement with a bucket of tokens at the casino funding Indian American reparations and Donald Trump's penis enlargement surgeries. These people aren't gonna care when, after all, they are addicted to what is essentially an arcade for alcoholics. But of course casinos are rigged. That's the business model. That's how it's a business at all. The house is going to win, and if they don't, well then it's illegal and you owe them the money. Checkmate, pal. But I mean, if the average slot machine is definitely rigged in their favor, then this shit is definitely rigged. And everybody knows that, so the question is, I mean, how does that work at all then? Well, you gotta remember the people that we're talking about right now. Addicts. Forget getting up and going to the bookers when you've got one right in your right hand, with your balls in your left. I mean, in theory, you could definitely argue the case that online gambling should at the very least be very illegal in many ways. But instead, it's advertised everywhere these days. On the UFC even. Could you imagine if something like the Hub got to sponsor its services on bouts of grown men bashing each other's frontal lobe at the chance of a WNBA paycheck? God bless America, that's all I'm gonna say. ChatGPT. Okay, so AI is a strange one, and pretty misrepresented as well. At best, it's like a Google search on roids, and the perfect way to bullshit through your bullshit degree. But at least so far, not useful for much else. So what gives it a special place on this list is how we're all trying to learn as little as possible in this life. And now all that requires is turning on the memory function before you don't even have to remind yourself of your first name anymore. And at its worst, AI is how you see Sydney Sweeney without the genes. And without Ryan Gosling levels of riz. You know, a lot of people like to fearmonger over AI and act like the world will never be the same again. Even Mark Zuckerberg has been quoted saying that it'll be a disadvantage to not have AI-powered glasses by 2024 or whatever. You know, because it's the process of taking your phone out of your pocket to look up some bullshit. That is exactly what society has to go about fixing right now. But in my very humble, better opinion, I think that maybe we gotta chill out on that point of view, because I mean the technology is not nearly there yet. Not gonna lie, I find it pretty boomer to act like this is the start of the techno-apocalyptic takeover.
oh my god, it's Y2K all over again. So as long as ChatGPT is right about
I don't know, maybe 80% of the time, all the while speaking like a very chill black guy.
What's on your mind?
I'm hooked. But to anyone thinking that this could very easily spread misinformation, those same dipshits have been getting fooled by Minion quotes since 2006. Damn, he really said that shit. And by the way, no offense, Zuck, right? Because I know you're always watching and all that. I don't really think that anybody should be getting their fashion advice from you of all people, buddy. I mean, you spent the last 20 years looking like you were the one getting fooled by the Minions the most. Subscription services. These days, every single purchase that you make is a part of a series of purchases that you won't actually own anything as a result of. Music, games, TV, social media even, your house probably. Everything. You know, I do love Spotify, don't get me wrong. It's bettered my life in so many ways. I go about my entire life to a movie soundtrack like a badass because of it. And I do consider its co-founder / CEO to be my long lost father. But it would be dumb to ignore the fact that it's sort of like the alternative to giving any money to the artist involved with actually making the thing by giving slightly less to some dumb bald Swedish billionaire instead. And in that way, it sort of does ruin something about the process of going out of your way as an artist to defy the odds and pave your own path independently in the face of all those industry people trying to actively ruin that process with connections and management who only want an industry puppet out of you in return. When at the end of the day you end up as a sound to some other sound pimp anyways. That being said, I mean, it's cool. That way we all get a wrapped list for Christmas, so hell, count me in. That's more than what my real dad gets me anyways. Just a little side note. My dad does pay for all of my subscription services. Food delivery. There's an awful lot to be said about how often people are willing to eat out at home. It's soggier, it's colder, it's way more expensive than just going to the restaurant itself, and yet we all still do it. Whether you personally decide to blame that fact on social anxiety or general laziness of a generation, I feel like when you really look for a deeper source to this problem, it'd have to be how we all still live at home in the first place. It tells you a lot about the mentality of a generation who's given up on even trying to grow up when all of that isn't even possible. Did you know that you're supposed to be able to afford rent, electricity, heating, insurance on top of taxes? But if you can't even afford any of those individually, then what else is there left to do except let your money run away from you in ways like this? I may indeed have 6 snuffs shoved right up my ass right now, but I consider this to have got to be my most guiltiest pleasure of them all. I can barely even afford to buy beer in a pub I'm too broke, but I still manage to find the wiggle room in my finances for a 25 quid burrito as well as 50 quid extra for guac at least like once a week. Sure, in my very biased opinion, I tell you that food delivery is great, that it's a good thing, that when you look past how your order was most definitely made wrong by someone who most definitely didn't wash their hands before most definitely putting their balls in it, before sealing it all nice and loose in an eco-friendly paper mesh bag that begins to disintegrate as soon as it touches oxygen, it all spilt into after your delivery driver most definitely crashed his e-bike into oncoming traffic. Sure, I'd say that food delivery is good, but like in the same kind of way that AI is a good thing because it might stop a pedo from going and making the actual real thing for himself. So, you know, take that as you will. Online shopping. Alright, so there's not a lot to say on this that I haven't already said just there about deliveries in general. So I'm not going to just sit here and regurgitate the same points to myself again. Instead, I'm going to sit here and wait for you to do it for me. Go on. Weren't you paying attention? But because I know you weren't, all I'll say is this. Basically, instead of going now to a real shop and trying something on or checking it out, you can simply go online and buy 15 slightly different variants of the same thing, and hell, chucking a Labubu on top of it. Because it's all gonna be the same price anyways. Okay, so by now I'm wondering if you're starting to pick up on the one link connecting each and every one of these sort of so-called addictions so far. The missing piece to the puzzle without which nothing previously named could even be a simple habit to use. Quite frankly, the root to any and all Gen Z addictions. That's right, fentanyl. Oh wait, that's just me. No, I mean phone addiction. I'll be the first to admit that the relationship that I have to this thing is not healthy. And you know, as the years have gone by, the reasons as to why I've used my phone have changed. I've been gradually growing into a twinky little man boy, and I'm conscious of how my internet algorithms have changed with that fact. You know you're growing up when everything that you see on your feed changes from just ass and booty to snookers and barbecues and 9/11 conspiracies. But one thing that hasn't changed through all of that you can probably tell by just how long it takes me to fucking make one of these videos, is my screen time. I'm really starting to come to the conclusion that maybe there's just really no way to have an actual, you know, a healthy relationship with one of these flashy ball banjaxing bricks. And with that, in a lot of ways, I've sort of stopped trying to even do that altogether. You know, you can't deny that your phone makes your life like 100 times easier. I mean, who really wants to be that dude who shows up with a backpack full of a calculator, a radio, a rotary, a few porno mags, a watch, a map and compass, a few board games, a pool table even, when you can just as easily have one of these instead. I've lived pretty much the entirety of my life at this stage with one of these things in my pocket. And in my biased opinion, I'd have to probably say that this is one of the greatest bits of innovation of all time. I mean, when's the last time you even took a turd without first waiting for one of my videos to load on 1.5 speed? Before getting to even enjoy that first plop, huh? What I'm trying to say is that maybe in a lot of ways, you're actually just supposed to be addicted to your phone. But then again, in a lot of ways, maybe not. It's a problem that we all have to deal with and all try individually to come up with our own solution for. To find that impossible balance with the greatest addiction of all time. Which is exactly why I've decided to do Steve Jobs' job for him, because let's be real, that fella fell off hard. To bring to you today the only phone that you'll ever need going forward. Introducing to you for the first time ever, the Map Touch. Past, present, future, Map Touch, time, life, Map Touch. God. What if I'm God? Yeah, now this feels better. That's right, in a world full of distractions, out there all just trying to nab your attention away from the things that really truly matter. We lived lives devoid of any true happiness and denying ourselves what we need most. Which is why today I bring to you the first ever music, memes, and porn only device. I don't even fucking see with these things on. This brand new technology cuts out all of the BS of a regular phone. No longer will that pesky screen time get in the way of how it was always meant to be spent. On a phone's only real purposes. No more phoning my phone, thank you very much, Grandma. Through rigorous trials and tribulation, me and my team have managed to remove every single feature of a normal phone other than memes, music, and so all that is left for you to do is simply turn on your device and click onto the button for which function you desire most. And yes, it really is that simple. What I'm guaranteeing to you is the first ever advertisement-free, subscription-free, distraction-free, one-time purchase experience. And how exactly did we do that, you may ask? Well, that's because I personally have gone out of my way to create the content on all three. That's right, play with my balls virtually. Here at Map Industries, we are working tirelessly to make the world a simpler place just one click away. Map Pro coming Marchember 2026. Map not to be confused with minor attracted person.
Map Touch may contain traces of fentanyl.
Listen, it's a work in progress. I'm trying, alright? What hit you in the face? Addicted. I need to take a shit. Woo! Oh, that is coming.